When you think of a 50mm lens, what brand comes to mind? Well, for me, before I got into Soviet lenses, it was Pentax. They're a company that's still around today, and they really built their heritage on their fantastic prime lenses back in the day. And so when I found this lens for $10 in an op shop here in Perth, well, I had to pick it up. This is the SMC Pentax M 50mm f2. Let's take a look at it. That's right, guys. Today we're taking a look at the SMC Pentax 50mm f2 lens. This is one of the most manufactured 50mm f2 lenses in the world. It is a true nifty-fifty. Pentax designed this lens back in the 1970s. It was released around the mid-1970s with the SMC Pentax A. That was an all-metal lens before they moved on to this variant. I think mine's from the 1980s sometime. This is the Pentax M 50mm f2, which basically means that they moved some of the body parts to be made out of plastic. And the result of that was this is a lighter lens, only 160 grams, so it is very, very light, and the ergonomics on it handle really, really beautifully. Now, it has 5 elements in 5 groups, but overall, you know, there are so many 50mm lenses out there that you just need to take a look at the photos, the images that this lens produces to see how it stacks up. And of course, the SMC actually stands for super multi-coated. It was Pentax's kind of, secret sauce back in the day. And I can let you in on a bit of a secret that it actually works really, really well. The coating on this lens for a lens developed in the 1970s is very nice. And I've got to say, bit better than the Soviet 70s multi-coatings for those lenses that did even have it. Now, this lens has a 49mm filter thread, and as well as that, a 45cm minimum focusing distance. Interestingly enough, the focusing scale on this lens is in both feet and meters, and it is in pristine condition. My copy focuses super, super smoothly. You really can almost focus it with one finger, which is a great sign for a manual focus lens like this. Now look, that's about it for technical details of the lens. I took it to Malaysia recently for a little holiday and took it out for some street photography. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at how those photos turned out. Okay guys, welcome to Penang, Malaysia. We're here at a temple where I've captured a tortoise or a turtle, something like that. And you can see a few really interesting characteristics of the Pentax lens. First off, it is nice and sharp in the center, and you can see the bokeh here in the frame. It has really smooth fall off, particularly between the front kind of areas and the back areas. Although what you will notice if you've got a keen eye is some of this aberration on the bokeh, some of this longitudinal chromatic aberration on the bokeh in the background, that sort of blue, kind of light blue fringe on some of those background blur elements. That is one of the kind of slightly negative characteristics of the lens. It's not too bad. This was shot at f2, so that is exaggerated and probably a worst case scenario for bokeh, given all of the foliage here. But overall, the Pentax handles it well. Next up, here we go. I've got a crop in from a 15-second long exposure. This is actually the full long exposure, but I decided this was the kind of better crop to look over Georgetown Harbour with. And yeah, I just put a 10-stop ND filter on the Pentax here. Shot it on my Nikon Z6 at, yeah, about 15 seconds, ISO 100. I really like what it's done here with the water. Now, because this is already a crop on a 24 megapixel image, it's not going to be like super, super sharp if you zoom too far in, but it's definitely got enough detail here. And because I shot this at about f11 on the Pentax, there's still plenty of resolution in those faraway buildings, and I think the colors have come up really, really nicely. I would say that the Pentax actually tends slightly more towards cooler colors. And here's another nice example of the bokeh on the Pentax. And again, you can sort of see that longitudinal chromatic aberration around this I Love Penang sign as well. But overall, it's a very sharp lens, and the bokeh is really, really pretty smooth. Now, I love this shot because it shows the contrast, it shows the colors that come from the Pentax. They are absolutely beautiful. They are modern. They are just lovely. And I'm actually using a Pentax style kind of film simulation on my Nikon Z6 as one of the picture profiles. And you can zoom in here, see how sharp those fried eggs are. I mean, to me, that looks absolutely delicious. I feel as though you could put this photo in any food magazine and it would not look out of place, even though it was taken on a $10 lens. Another great example here of the smooth bokeh of the Pentax. I mean, everything here is like butter. The foreground, the background. This was shot at f2 at close to the Pentax's minimum focusing distance of 45 centimeters. You can see when it's close up, it does lose a little bit of resolution here. That QR code isn't as sharp as it potentially could be, but it's still got enough to, you know, when you're looking at it full size on a big screen like this, it still looks like a sharp photo, and it definitely doesn't have any resolution issues. Another shot here in a street food market at, well, kind of twilight time. I love the detail that the Pentax has retained in the sky here. Again, what you'll find is really poppy, vibrant colors from this Pentax. This is actually a straight out of camera JPEG that I have not done much to at all, and I think it looks great. Another example here of a street scene, just looking down the street, you can see how well the Pentax deals with fringing up on these leaves. So even on these really highly contrasting areas, you've got dark leaves right up against a really bright sky. The Pentax is dealing with it really, really well. You do, of course, get this little bit of kind of red, almost orange fringing, but in my opinion, it actually looks really, really nice and complements the whole image quite well. It you know, almost shows you the color of that red sun that's kind of coming through the sky. So another great image for the Pentax. And this one here, I shot it, I believe, about f2.8, a street food scene. I shot it at 1/100 shutter speed, and you can see I managed to get a little bit of motion blur with the motorbike rider in the foreground. You've got everything in focus in the background there, and I think this is just what the Pentax was made for. So easy to focus with that nice smooth focus ring. So you can pull off shots like this in a hurry. And yeah, they work out really, really nicely. Nice little photo of a restaurant here as well, and some characters on the wall, which I decided to put into black and white. Again, I like how the Pentax renders this. And another shot, so you can see here just the resolution of the Pentax. This was stopped down to, I believe, about f2.8 thereabouts, and you can see just how crisp that kind of pirate skull and crossbones, I think it was a pirate thing anyway, was at this old kind of ruined church in Penang as well. I think it's a pretty cool shot. And of course, we have to go ahead and take a look at a flower shot. This was shot at f2. You can see, again, at f2 at close distances, that's probably where the Pentax M is at its weakest, but there's still resolution in there. It's still handling this very, very busy scene pretty well. There's a little bit of busyness in the bokeh in the background here, but again, this is kind of worst case scenario. You've got really high contrasting highlights coming through foliage at the background. Overall, I love the greens. I love the colors, I think, just that this Pentax gives off. And throughout all of these photos here from Malaysia, I think that is my main takeaway. The colors of this Pentax are just absolutely fantastic. So there we go, guys. That is the SMC Pentax M 50mm f1.2. What a nifty 50. I mean, holding this, taking photos with this, it just feels like, you know, you're back in the 50s shooting on film, and you pair it with a couple of film simulations and you are absolutely golden. You get some fantastic pictures out of this, but more than that, it is just a absolute joy to shoot with. So look, if you guys find one of these for $10 at your local flea market, op shop, wherever you buy your lenses from, then just pick it up. Do not even ask. It is the best $10 I think you can spend today as a photographer. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe here to Soviet Lens Reviews on YouTube for more content just like this. But until the next one, I'll see you then.